Hello everyone, this is Daren with Madcaptoys. Welcome to the Toy Barn again. We're going to be doing another video today, and this video is going to basically be about starting a plastic Army Men collection. Now this is just for the typical guy that's looking for something to do on the side, and he can't really always afford the expensive model kits, paint, brushes, the metal, and he doesn't want to buy one or two figures at a time, or maybe a lot of resin action figures or soldiers, I guess you'd call them, Army Men. So this is a way to do it on the cheap, and I know because everything that I'm saying to you, myself and others that I'm with have done. Now what we're going to be showing you is the basic 2 to 3 inch action figures, okay? This here is going to be the Mortar Man. He's 10. Most of the times these guys will come in 1 or 2 colors. Used to, it was primarily tan or green. You know, just right there, the two armies that fight each other all the time. Nowadays you can get these action figures in red, blue, pink, yellow, brown, gold. I've seen them even in a purplish color and a couple others. These guys have been around for quite a while. Their basic stands haven't changed too much. Now he used to be, when I was a kid back in the 70s, 80s, and even in the 60s for some of you guys are a little bit older than me, he was bending down on his knee. Now they've got him standing up, which at the time I don't remember him doing. This guy here is a flamethrower trooper. They've got him now, instead of standing up, he is also bending down. They've got the crawling scout soldier that's firing like he's in sniper position. They also have done a little change up on here. This guy used to be what I'd call the Usher Man. He'd tell everybody, get on up there, come on up over the hill, let's go, let's go, let's go. Now they've added a grenade to his hand to make him a little bit more useful. Okay, so that's a little change up. Then they've always got the crawling gentleman that's crawling to the position to do exactly what he's doing. They've also done a little upgrade here to this guy. When I was a kid, most of the time he was kneeling down to shoot his bazooka. Now they've got him pretty much just standing up. I'm going to put him on over there because he's not doing anything. And they always have the radio man, radar. Okay, and I'm going to put some of these guys back here. Now basically in this set, guys, here that I'm showing you, they've got 14 of these 10 guys. Okay, this guy here is your land miner sweeper dude. When I was a kid, you'd get 100 green or 50 tan or whatever the case is when you buy a pack, but they've pretty much lowered it down to where a lot of times you'll get 51 of these guys, maybe 25 of these guys. And in this set that I'm going to show you here is going to be pretty much the same thing, just different colors. And I'm not going to do a little stop motion skirmish on these guys, but I will in time. See, here you go. This guy right here, he's standing up like they used to, more or less, and shooting or spraying the flame at the other guys. Okay, let me get these guys going, and I'm not setting them up for any particular reason, guys, so there's no reason or rhyme to this. I'm just doing it so you can see that I've got basically 14 of each. There's a more modern green flamethrower trooper. But basically, there you go. It's just a group. 14 versus 14. 14 10, 14 green. Now, in a game, the attacker will usually, if you start playing and want to do it in the cheap, you can do this. They've got rules online how you can play against your son or a friend or a group of friends. You know, as long as you got basically even teams, or you have it set up to where you've got a, let's say 3 guys defending and 4 to 5 attacking, that's fine. But the average ratio that you're going to want, because defenders usually have a few pluses and perks that the offensive team doesn't have, is the recommended ratio is at least 2.5 to 1, and in real theory it's 3 to 1. So keep that in mind. But this is the way to take and do it, because these are cheaper by and large than what you could get if you started buying metal soldiers and started painting them up or resin. These will work for about any battle that you want to do, unless you're doing a time period, time sensitive battle. Then you need particular age specific soldiers. All right, now let me leave those there and show you some things that you could get, but they're again a little bit more expensive. And in most cases, like I said, with these guys, you can oftentimes get them at a 51 at a time, 101 at a time, and I've even seen on these green guys you can get 1400 at a time. But if you want age specific, you can get things, for instance, like Attila and the Huns, and you're talking here you've got 12 figurines, but again, they're going to usually, as far as I remember, be gray. And so if you're trying to build an army, it's going to be a little more expensive that way than buying a mess of these just to play stop motion battles with, or whatever you're wanting to do, especially if you're playing with your kid. Here's something else a lot of people that I've played with use. They'll use little model kits here. For instance, the U.S. Army Light M24 Chaffee. They'll take and they'll use things of this nature as a tank marker. Again, a age specific, armies in plastic. You'd get 20 action figures with something like this, or army men. And you see right here, these are white. Some people say, okay, that's fine, we'll leave them in plain drab white. Other guys I know like to be more specific and paint it. Some guys will take, and I do have ships as well, we'll use the ME-163 Flying Rocket Comet. And, well, let me bring it back for you to look at. And they'll not use these guys so much to that kind of stuff, guys. They'll just put them as a marker for the air support, or the tank, or the ship, or whatever the case is that they're using. But those things that I just shown you, like this, are going to be way more expensive to use as markers than if you buy something equivalent to this for a tank or a ship, armored car, etc., so forth. And I'll show you that, and I'll take you up here real quick. Let me grab you. Sorry about that hand. Shoot. All right, let's go back here, and you can see, for instance, right through here how we have all kinds of things, and we're actually growing that section because it's pretty popular. But over here, the reason why we're pushing this, because we have a lot of people, and you can see where we've been selling a bunch of stuff down. I've got to remodulate this right here. These are $5.95 or 98 cents here. And you can go there and say, okay, you can get roughly 41 pieces right here, and it's going to still be $2 to $3 to $4 or more cheaper than the time specific soldiers that I've been showing you. And you know, we're talking, you can use any time specific soldier, for instance Roman era, if you want to do Roman versus Carthage, or World War I, World War II, Civil War, you know, you can do that. But you can use these guys so much cheaper. These here guys are 25, and you can see that I think they're like $4.95 just to get 25 soldiers. You can build up an army like that pretty quick. Now, to be honest with you, also something that you can do is if you go online and look to get some soldiers and get an army real quick, and I had a friend that did this a lot. He wanted to pretty much overwhelm a lot of people that were, you know, his set of enemies or opponents in the games, and he pretty much wanted to see if he could take everybody. He would go and buy a mess of 1,444 army men that's on eBay, or I don't know if Mercari, what their setup is. I know they got several hundred for sale, but they don't have necessarily the same quantity as eBay does on that seller. But there's ways to do things way cheaper and cost effective than buying packets that you have to paint and get really date specific. I had a friend named Doug. He'd take and he would buy whole groups of play sets, like Marx play sets or Marx revamped play sets by companies that are taking and licensing out those play sets and all. And he'd buy groups of them at a time. He'd take and he'd get Battle of the Bulge. He'd get the European theater. He even bought off one company, a theater where Germany and Russia was fighting at Stalingrad. There's ways to get specific battles if you want to play it, but a lot of those battles that you can take and play are using a lot of pieces that are similar to these guys. If you get into other things that are more specific, I mean, you can use these for World War II, some World War III scenario, because that's based on World War II, Vietnam, Korea. When you get into Attila and the Huns, the Black Huns here, or Rome, Carthage, you're going to have more age specific, which they do. They have Civil War play sets in this standard set that you see here. They're just blue and gray, but plastic is probably the cheapest way to go if you're wanting to do something with friends and have fun. And there's plenty of rules and things out there. We have our own sets of rules, but people like Doug, you know, this is the best way to buy en masse. And it's the cheapest too. So to build out an army set and a collection, I would start with something like this compared to something like this, just because of several reasons. Numbers for one, and then also, except for playing specific era battles, these will work for about anything that most of the guys out there want to do. All right, guys, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And don't forget, we appreciate you stopping by. Give us that big old thumbs up. Give us that like real quick, as well as don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends and your family and anyone that might be interested in anything to do with toys, because here it's all about the toys, guys. All about the toys. All right, you have a great, wonderful evening. Bye-bye. I'll see you later.